Hi, ladies and gentlemen, it's Marcus. I'm back again. You know, I got the impression that something is going on in the world, and we, the people, are overlooking it. We're not focusing on it. We got our attention directed someplace else, and our attention is in a proper place. But there's something else that's happening that is much more devastating, or should I say, consequential. What is that? It is. It appears to me as if nature is at war with the world. And when I say the world, I'm talking about the human population. Because it appears whatever nature does is okay with nature, because nature is befitting to be adjusted to whatever changes occur. It's appropriate for nature. But we, the people, we have to be ready for changes. And if they catch us not ready, it can be quite devastating. And so while we are being distracted by our own nature, our nature, there's something else that we should focus on. For instance, all over the globe right now, for those of you who find all kind of reasons to spend your time doing whatever you've chosen to do, I'm sure it's wonderful to you and good. But if you could just take a moment and spend some time doing some surfing on the internet, your phone or your computer or tablet or whatever you use, and check out disasters that are happening across the globe in every nation, every country. There's devastation, earthquakes, mudslides, sinkholes, wildfires, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods. And I mean, they're happening, the numbers are increasing. They perhaps have been happening all over the world all the time, but it never got our attention, because right now it definitely has mine. And it's devastation. You think about the stuff that happened in China. You know, China, a nation that we used to think was very cheap. All of this little what you call it, trinkets and stuff that they were selling here in the country, and get them for a dime, 15 cent, change now. And they fall apart before you get home. But now they have done wonderful things, I guess. The economy has changed. Sure, they got a lot of people there, but they are investing, finding different ways to run their various Ponzi schemes. You know, I always say anything that has to do with money is nothing but a Ponzi scheme. But they are trying to invest in countries everywhere. And the purpose, you know, for those of you who are economists and study stuff like that, you know what they're doing it for. Nevertheless, they're making that connection. And all of a sudden, we're hearing that there are floods all over the place. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people drowning, people missing, property going away. I mean, houses, whole communities are wiping, rolling down the street in a flood. Cars, you got, they call them graveyards for cars. They're like all the cars go to a certain spot and just clog and masses in. This is devastation. It happens in the United States, various states having floods, cars going around in the streets there. I mean, you know, several states. You got the wildfires in California. You got them in other places. You got the heat changing. You got droughts. Something is happening, ladies and gentlemen. You know, that's nature. We can't control nature as far as we know. Somebody say we played a part in the melting of the ice, but I don't know anything about that. But they do have something coming on. So what I'm saying to us is this: we can't control that, but we can try to be prepared Try to be prepared. Let me show you something what I mean by try to be prepared. Today, there was a parade in Woodbury, Minnesota. I'm sitting on some porch, and people are lined up all down the street, both sides. And as the parade comes through, those of you who've had parades to come through your community, you're quite familiar with what they do. You got some people doing various things. You got dancing, you got acrobats, you got bands, you got advertisement, you got politicians, you got all these things going on. You got certain groups passing out water balls to people who are sitting on the sides of the street. They got bags of candy that they're throwing on the side so kids can run out and get candy and be, getting something out of being at the parade. And I'm sitting there enjoying myself because, I've seen this stuff many times in my life, but I don't have that many more to see. And so I'm thinking about that and I'm enjoying it. And you got people, the parade comes this way, and you got people coming, they throw can out there. In this particular spot, I'm watching the people throw the can out because for a minute there I hadn't seen anybody throwing can out. And then all of a sudden it was because the parade hadn't got to that point. People are throwing out candy, and the kids are doing what kids do. They run and they get the candy. They run and get the candy. And then there's this particular section over here where I could see real clearly people throwing candy, everybody running to get candy. And there was this black guy who was coming down, and he had bags, and he was throwing out candy as well. And he got over in that section, and all of a sudden I felt something really negative. I felt some cold chill come over me when I saw him grabbing a hand of candy from the bag to throw in this particular section. And he threw the candy in the particular section, and not one soul moved. The candy hit the ground, and it just lay there. Not one soul moved. I'm hoping he didn't see this. I'm hoping he kept on going, because that was so embarrassing that here in Woodbury, I don't know if these people lived in Woodbury, whether they just came from another location here, but here it is. Candy lady, they wouldn't touch it. Now, what brought that even more attention is that somebody else come right along, threw candy right in that same spot, and they went and picked candy up that the other person threw to make sure that they weren't touching that candy on a black man's hand, throwing it to them. Now, I want to tell you, that was ugly. That was as ugly could get. Because they made a statement. They made a statement. I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to go right out there and pick up every last one of those pieces of candy right there in front of their faces. Just pick it up. In front of them, pick it up, and then come back. And I just wanted them to know that you didn't get away with that. We saw that. You ought to be ashamed. That's what I wanted to say to him. My daughter wouldn't let me go. So I just sat back. But now here's what I'm saying. That is that kind of stuff that keeps us apart. It is something that has already happened that even got this here in us, got us acting this way. And nature is coming, doing its thing. What do you think the Chinese are going to do? Like all these big bridges and stuff that they've been building, these big train tracks, and the water just comes through and wipe them off like it's put up like some trinkets that they used to be known for. But don't care how big they do, whatever they do. He's saying to the world, I don't care how big you try to do your thing. Nature says I'm bigger and I'm better, and wipe us out. But if we are focused on life, if we are focused on one another, if we care about ourselves to the extent we know we require caring about others, then we would do different things. We would make sure that whatever each of us require to be the best, whatever it is that we are, we would make sure, even now, knowing the situation that is being amassed against the human race. People everywhere, in every city, in every town, in every state, throughout the United States and all over this globe, people should be stopping, identifying people who are not doing anything, people who don't have jobs, people who are, whatever you want to call them, just outside of life because of their position, because of the system that they live in that have put them in this position, and offer them to make some changes. Offer them, the guys who are in prison for doing nonviolent crimes, offer these, bring them out, lift them up, let them know that we need them. We need them to do certain things, whatever it is that they can do. Put them back in school. Make schools and classes available to them. Whatever it is that they can do. Don't try to put them in some place, but ask them what they can do and put them where they want to be. So when they get in this training, they can learn it because they want to learn it so they can be better at it, whatever it is that they have chosen to be. Everybody, get them ready because we're going to need every hand on deck to stand up with nature. Because nature got a head start on us. We've been playing games. We've been lying and cheating. We've been stealing and killing and racist and causing things to have war. We've been hating. We've been being racist and bigots. We've been murderers. That's where we've been spending our time. We've been spending our time trying to find some way to out-con people. We've been spending our time trying to be big shots and trying to say we're better than others. That's where we've been spending our time, calling ourselves the greatest and then thinking it means something when it didn't mean a thing, especially when we see what we're faced with now in nature. But if we can wake up even in this moment in time, it's not over. We are not consumed yet. So if we can wake up now, we might not be able to defeat it like we could if we've been prepared from the beginning. But whatever we do now will help us. But we got to start doing it now. We got time for people to start to keep on hating. We don't have time for people to keep on trying to find reasons to think somebody's down. No, we got to come together and find reasons to build people up. We got to find reasons to tell people you don't have to hate and let them know it. We got to find reasons to let people know they don't have to go through the things that they've been going through, the suffering. We are going to protect one another. We got to find ways to get this message to them, and we got to start not just talking, but we got to start doing it. Not just here in Minnesota, but in the United States throughout, and not just in the United States. All over the globe where people exist, we got to make people know it is not necessary for you to run from your country to another country because you've been beat down. Yes, that's what we've been having to experience because of the types of things we've been exposed to, because of the things we've been taught. But now it's a new day. It's time for us to take control and realize that where we've been is not where we want to go. And we've got to make an ideal plan of where we want to go and then set up and start making moves toward that direction. And my friends, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful sight when you can look at it and say, I didn't cause nothing for hurting, no pain to you, no suffering or pain to you, and it's all good because whatever I've done, you can attest that it's a blessing. So what you gonna say? Hey, it's a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to throw that at you because I want you to be aware that we got to start focusing. We got to start paying attention. We got to stop thinking about how much we can get. We got to start thinking about what we can be, how good we can be at whatever it is we are. Whatever it is we is. It got whatever we can, being good at whatever it is that we are. And we are more than just consumers. We are more than just people that go down and buy something to say we got something. We are bigger than that. We got more purpose in life than just trying to consume. So let's learn to love. Goodbye.